It's a great honor to be here. Special thanks to Professor Yuan and her team to organize this wonderful session. I think we have a great crowd here, distinguished scholars, students, practitioners like myself, birthday girl, of course. And the flow of discussions, I think, is tremendously awesome. I mean, we started from academic background. We even heard insights on Confucius insights, rather, how to think about the social value. We even learned how to apply game theory to kind of a typology on social enterprises. And we even talked about the social aspects of electricity, the network, this morning. For those of you who are not very familiar with SK, SK is large conglomerates. We have three pillars of business: the semiconductor, petrochemical, energy, and telecommunication mobile carrier. The size of SK is big. Our annual turnover is about $170 billion, which is similar size to GE. Its annual turnover is slightly bigger than GDP of New Zealand, so it's big. Its influence is humongous among ourselves. And thank God, we are beyond the notion of maximizing shareholder value. What is maximizing shareholder value? It is about the company is trying to be chosen or being favored by investors in capital market. If I come to think about it, it's kind of scary, right? I mean, all of us at SK we work very hard to thickening our investors' wallet. That's pretty scary, I think. We are beyond that. If you think about it, we don't hire investors. I mean, you know, we don't even know who they are, even. I mean, we don't sell our stuff to, well, I mean, they can buy our stuff, but they are not the only customers that we sell our stuff to. They only know about us through what stockbrokers let them to know about us. So it is more important to think about who are actually doing business with: our employees, people in our community, government, all these stakeholders in our society. They are the true partners of our business. So we embed this notion of happiness of our stakeholders and everybody in our society as our company management philosophy. Believe me, there is a booklet about it, and you better memorize it word by word if you want to get promoted at SK. Me too, I did it. Seems to be that SK is not alone. I think many great companies around the world is going down this path. If you look at Campbell here, what is that destination goals got to do with the cans of soup? And Verizon is basically the telecommunication company. I mean, what do they do got to do with anything about shareholder success? Doesn't all this company mission or the motto sounds like they are pursuing something more than purpose, more than profit? To me, it sounds more like a purpose. And sounds like they are more like an orientation toward certain greater being or greater good to our society than objective. Sounds more to me that they are mission compared to company model. So, what do we do? At SK, we have been contemplating quite a bit. I work for CSR department. And what is a CSR? Corporate social responsibility. I don't like to think about it as a responsibility. It's more like sound like liability. We owe to something to our society. We have to pay back. If we pay back, that becomes expenses. Rather, we would like to think about it as we're building the social asset, social equity, so we can grow together in our society. Okay, so we spend some other resources on CSA or CSE activities. But there are many different ways than just providing our money to the charity. Our choice is to support social enterprises. Why? Because we can be more productive. The resource we provide to social enterprise, if done it right, they can be turned into sustainable business model, continuously resolving our societal issue. So our choice of our way of growing together with the community is to support social entrepreneurship. Few examples. Happy Lunchbox. We have 28 distribution centers across the Korean Peninsula, delivering 12,000 lunch boxes every day. We apply not only providing the capital, but apply some of the business innovations like standardized menu, consolidated procurement, solving logistical problems, all that kind of good stuff. But the real magic happens at the doorstep of our beneficiary. For those who cannot afford a meal a day, usually they keep themselves. They're isolated, forgotten by all of us. There is no better cure than just somebody shows up your door and say hello, and how are you? So that is real magic, in my opinion. I think, Professor, I can talk to the general manager of Happy Lunchbox next year. Maybe they can serve a meal to Beijing Forum next year. Another example is Happy Nare. Happy Nare used to be one of our money-making affiliates. MRO company is the maintenance, repair, operations company. They buy consumable products and sell them to our affiliates. Now, we strategically turned this company into social enterprise because Happy Nare can buy stuff from social enterprise, meaning that Happy Nare can be sales and marketing department. It can be merchandiser or R&D department of social enterprises. Its annual turnover is about 400 million, aim to target about $1 billion in 5 years. So what social enterprise with a $1 billion annual turnover can do? Just imagine. We're also doing some of the nurturing stuff, mentoring, contests and all that kind of stuff. But most notably, we are working with one of those renowned Korean universities in Korea. We're providing the full scholarships to full degree MBA program focusing on social enterprise. So students can get full scholarship upon one condition. They have to found social enterprise upon graduation. It's that simple. We're also working with world-renowned opinion leaders. This is one example we did in the past, the Breaking the Binary. We worked with Schwab Foundation and Harvard University to find some of the commonality across the different policy frameworks that supports social enterprises across the world. So we interviewed 20 successful global social entrepreneurs, and we did the case studies across different countries and try to find a commonality across them. You can download a copy from Schwab Foundation website. This is another example of trying to do creating the Alibaba of social projects. Working with UN Global Compact, like I said, is the eBay of social enterprises. It can attract different ideas of social innovation across the world and trying to invite some of the partners, like corporations like SK or government. Try to matchmake some of the good projects with funding capabilities. Now, are these all good things are enough? I think we should go beyond this. The question really remains, can impact sector go mainstream? This is the statistics one of my friends used in earlier presentation in Korea. if you look at the left column, under the UN's, the Sustainable Development Goal, the capital requirements, they claim that they need about $4 trillion. And about $1.4 trillion been invested into this so-called impact sector. There is a gap about $2.5 trillion. We still need this big money. Now, is the money the problem? I don't think so. Believe me, there is money. I had a long-standing career in the other side of the world of taking. There is money. Look at all this. Bank assets, $120 trillion, all this. Even for sovereign fund, have $6 trillion. So money is not the issue. We just cannot find the ways to flow that money into the impact sector. That's the problem. Obviously, there are some challenges. I know we heard from yesterday from Mr. Doug Miller that from AVPN. They're trying to create a investment platform to attract more of this sort of money. But there are challenges. Lack of transparency. If you look at some of the financial reportings of social enterprises to the commercial investors, it looks fishy. It's not familiar. And mostly importantly, the performance is not well understood. That's the real issue for investors to make the informed, better decisions. Our suggestion is called the social progress credit. What if we can measure the social value being generated by social enterprise, and what if we incentivize these social enterprise based upon the performance measured? What we are aiming is, if we incentivize social enterprise with a monetary term, then they will be able to focus on improving their value chain rather than looking around to get more funding. And if their results are recognized by society, then they will be motivated. Like we discussed earlier, these people have a different motivation than just making money. So if they are recognized, then they will be motivated, they will work hard to resolve more societal issues. Now, if we can measure them over and over again, then we'll have a longitudinal data set. We'll be able to create the market confidence. Why? Because we have data now. Investors will understand which social enterprise perform better than the other. That means we can attract more capital inflow into the impact sector. We pleasantly accepted this notion of invisible heart as characterizing the impact investment earlier. We hope that the social progress credit will be helping us to find some of the missing veins to flow more blood into the invisible part. Actually, this idea was our chairman of our group came up with this idea. He threw this idea at various places and gotten the great responses. Year 2012, Beijing Forum, and also year 2013, WWEF. He even wrote a book about it. Thankfully, the Chinese edition is available, so if you want to grab a copy, they will be available outside. Now, what are all these means? What we are trying to do is the measuring social value and incentivize. The society can do this if we have a measurement system, because social cost will go down as social value being created by social enterprises. We need to compensate them. If we can, then it will become the corporate value of the social enterprise, making this so-called financial value, social value trade-off issue, making this double bottom line into the single bottom line. So we want to be able to measure the social value, and they want them to be part of the corporate valuation of social enterprises. Then we can truly attract more capital investments. Now, the issue is how to measure social value. Can we have one perfect measurement system? We rather took some of the practical approach. We took some insights from the case of the water. Water does not boil at 100 degrees Celsius, nor freeze at 0 degrees Celsius. We agreed to recognize the boiling point of the water under the one hemisphere as a 100 degrees Celsius. We agreed to recognize the freezing point of water as a 0 Celsius degree. So what this means is that the measurement system and social value is not the academic exercise. It is more of a building social consensus issue. So we went on and we tried to design so-called agreeable measurement system. Like I said, we want it to be whatever value that we come up with, want them to be part of the corporate value. And in order for making the comparative comparisons, it should be intuitive and generally accepted format. And yes, when we develop the measurement scheme, obviously we need to think about two different dimensions, reliability, validity. Both are important. But we want it to be more reliable at first. Why? Because if we can repeat this measurement scheme over and over again, we can collect more data, meaning that once we have a reliable data set, then perhaps we can do some more analytics to develop or improve our measurement scheme to be more valid externally. Now, our way of thinking about the social value is, social value can mean very differently to everybody. So what we did is, we came up with this notion of social performance because, like I said, this is about building the social consensus, not having the perfect measurement scheme. So let's find something that we can agree upon first. So we defined social performance as three different approaches. One, let's just assume, let's just look at the social performance which we can actually observe. Only those performance directly achieved through the business. There are indirect impact. If we hire a handicapped person, not only improving the life of quality for the hired the employee of handicapped person, but actually improving the quality of the family members of that hired person. But that's a secondary. Obviously, it's part of, yes, the social impact, but let's make it homework for the later. And we want it to be more value-added, meaning that if there are commercial alternatives, let's subtract those value. Let's only measure the value-added. And also, let's only focus on what not being recognized by the market. If there are government subsidies, then let's subtract them. Let me skip a few pages. We teamed up with about 50 social enterprises in Korea and government agencies. And then we actually, April Fool's Day, we actually started this project. The theme for the launching event was celebrating what achievement has been delivered by our superheroes in our time. And our employees, volunteers, working as a relationship manager, we did a one-on-one matching between our volunteer and then a social enterprise. They provide close monitoring in terms of changes that the social enterprise is going through. Workshops, believe me, we had so many workshops, listening to their opinions, and we got great results. Now, just bear with me, 10 more seconds. So all these learnings going into the development of the IT system. We want to create the social progress appraisal system. Why? Because we want it to be opened. Open means that anyone who has an intention to deliver social purpose can come to our site and evaluate themselves how much the social value they can create. It will increase the awareness of general public. Second, we want it to be a planning tool for participating social enterprises. If they change the business model, then they can see how much the performance that they can achieve. And lastly, we can effectively manage the large data set. That's the example of. So lastly, we just took a few steps in a long journey. We invite your support and count on your participation. Thanks for listening.